straight, relax, breathing normally. Visualize a mighty crystal mountain. In the evening, as the sun sets, the whole sky lights up with varied hues and colors of blue and pink and yellow and red. The crystal mountain glows with these colors. Many amazing colors, changing colors, they glow in the crystal mountain. And after the sky becomes dark, the crystal mountain also becomes dark. Until next morning when the sun rises and the mountain shines with a bright, blazing blue. All throughout we know in that vast crystal mountain, not the slightest touch of color is there. It is transparent crystal, even when it looks red, yellow, pink, red, golden. Even when it is dark in the night, it is the same transparent crystal. And even when it reflects the new sunrise in all its glory, it is the same transparent crystal. I, the one unchanging consciousness, I sit like the mountain, the crystal mountain. In me appears body, mind, samsara, waking, dreaming, deep sleep, life and death. And all throughout, when body and mind are appearing, I am not the least bit affected. I am not a body, nor are the bodies, the race, the color, the size, the gender, none of them are mine. They are appearances in me. I am the vast mountain of consciousness, like the crystal mountain I sit. When varied thoughts go through the mind, they appear in me, the consciousness. None of those thoughts, I am neither the mind nor is the mind mine. None of those thoughts are mine. When waking comes with its busyness and its activities, we are all reflections in the vast crystal mountain of consciousness. I am the same. And the world of dreams arises and disappears, and the deep night of deep sleep comes. I am the vast crystal mountain of consciousness. Thus, year by year, time flows, and yet that is also an appearance in the crystal mountain of consciousness. And so goes life. One day death comes, that also appears in the crystal mountain of consciousness. And a new life, like a new sunrise, arises all throughout. And the unmoved, ever transparent consciousness shining. Aham asmi sadaham. Breathing normally, relaxed. Gently open your eyes. Real trick to all of these meditation techniques is that there is no margin between meditation and life. There's no border. With eyes closed, if I do it intensely, whatever exercise I'm doing, the experience I'm having, when we open our eyes, basically it should describe this life itself. This is the crystal mountain. And next, 24. Aham eva sukham nanya. Aham eva sukham nanya. Anyatednaiva tat sukham. Anyatednaiva tat sukham. Amadaktham nahi preyo. Madattvam nahi preyo. Madattham na swatapriyam. Madattham na swatapriyam. I am joy itself. Joy is not other than me. If other, it's not joy at all. For if it isn't for me, it isn't dear at all. And if it is for me, it isn't dear of itself. He is the master. What deftness, philosophical skill. This is very simple. The thinking, the flow of logic is simple, but it's very elegant. It's very elegant. What he's doing here. Remember the question. You keep saying Satchidananda, Satchidananda. So is Ananda a property of the Atma? Or not? He says, no. Ananda is not a property of the Atma. So Atma is Nirananda? No. Atma is Ananda itself. As Swami Vivekananda said, it's not that the Atman is joyful, it is joy itself. The mind can be joyful or joyless, but Atman is joy itself. He says, Ahameva sukham nanya. I myself only am sukha. I am sukha means happiness, joy, not something else. So sukha or happiness is not something other than me. I am happiness. Happiness is not something other which has to be added to me. My very nature is happiness. Supposing sukha, happiness is a quality, something other than me, then what will happen? Anyat chet naiva tat sukham. If happiness is other than me, other than the self, it is not happiness at all. What do you mean? He said, I will prove it. If suppose I am not Ananda or happiness, Sukha, same, he is using Sukha, Ananda in the same sense. Sukha or Ananda or happiness, suppose it is not my nature, it is not my quality, it's something other than me. Or it's a quality, but not me, something other than me. Then it can be two options he's giving. He's splitting the alternatives into two bifurcation. One is that this sukha, that other than me sukha, it is not for me. It's not connected to me. Whatever you call it, whatever is the source of sukha, it is not for me, it's not connected to me. In that case, it is not happiness, he says. Or the second option is, it is connected to me, it is for me. In that case, it is not happiness of itself. What does he mean? For this, we have to go back to first verse itself, when we did. First means verse number 2. Aham asmi sada bhami. Next one. Na kadachit naham apriyah. I am never a source of unhappiness. And do you remember the logic there? That which gives me happiness, I always try to keep. I never try to get rid of. That which gives me unhappiness, I try to get rid of. Therefore, if I am trying to get rid of something, it must be a source of unhappiness for me. If I am trying to keep something, it must be a source of happiness for me. Now notice, everyone wants to continue to exist, to live. And therefore, I want to keep myself all the time. Therefore, I myself, the self, Atma, must be a source of happiness for me always. Second, the other part of the logic, maximum happiness. Not only continuous source of happiness, but maximum happiness. If one thing is loved for the sake of another, the other one is loved more than the first one. Remember the young man who had a job? He loves his job, no doubt, but it is for the sake of the money. He loves the money, no doubt, but it is for the sake of what he can buy with that money. He loves those consumer objects, no doubt, the objects he buys, but that is for the sake of the family. But he loves the family because it is his family. Finally, we are back to the Atman. Now, if something is loved for the sake of another, that one is loved more. Everything is loved for the sake of the Atma. Nothing is loved. Atma is not loved for the sake of anything. If everything is loved for the sake of the Atma, Atma is loved most of all. And Atma is not loved for anything else. Then there is nothing else which is loved more than Atma. Okay. And that which gives us happiness, we love. That which gives us more happiness, we love more. That which gives us most happiness, we love most. We love Atma most, so Atma must be giving us most happiness. Okay. This is the logic behind it. Now look what he's saying here. If you say that happiness is something other than me, other than the self, other than Atma. There are only two possibilities. Either it is not related to me or it is related to me. It's other than me, it's not me, it's other. Other can be of two things. Something completely unrelated to me, something related to me. If it is not related to me, it can't be happiness. Think about it. My degree, I have got a first class first. I am happy. Oh, such and such person topped the examination. Nothing to do. But my degree gives me happiness. Why? Both are examination results. Which is mine. Connected to me. Then it gives me happiness. My money, my child. Is the child the source of happiness or my child? My child. So if it is not related to me, if it is something other than me, not related by relationship of mine, in that case, if it is something other than me, it's a matter of indifference to me. Indifference to me. Both happiness and sadness. A tragedy, something that happens, even the smallest thing that happens, related to me, that causes me unhappiness or worry. Even a big tragedy happens, Gaza, Ukraine, okay. News item, breaking news. Because amadartham, it's not nothing related to me. So happiness, misery, unless it's connected to me, it is of no happiness or misery to me. So this so-called sukha, which is other than me, if it is not connected to me, it is not sukha at all. Somebody got Oscar award, Nobel Prize. Good. But I got a tiffin box in my kindergarten as some prize. That is source of happiness. Really? Somebody getting Nobel Prize is of no happiness to me. Because it is not connected to me. Amadartham, datam sukham. That which has no connection to me, the greatest of so-called happiness is if it is no connection to me, it is not happiness. It will not generate any feeling of happiness. It has no connection to you. Alright, we'll say happiness is other than you but connected to you. Alright, then he says, then the answer is happiness is other than me, it's not me but it's other than me, but connected to me. In that case, it is not happiness. The connection with me is happiness. How? So, take the same example. Someone won the Nobel Prize. Should be a matter of great happiness? No, nothing for me. But I won a tiffin box in kindergarten. So, what is the source? This is the source of happiness for me. What is the source of happiness? Tiffin box or Nobel Prize? Is it tiffin box? No, it is my tiffin box. So, my is the source of happiness, not the tiffin box itself. Nobel Prize is so much greater than tiffin box, but it is not a source of happiness for me. Tiffin box is a source of happiness for me because it's the connection, my tiffin box, my award. By itself, tiffin box is not happiness. By itself, Nobel Prize is not happiness. I win the Nobel Prize, then it is happiness. It should be connected with me somehow. If it is not connected with me, that happiness is no happiness. If it is connected with me, then that happiness is not happiness in itself. That connection with me is the source of happiness. So ultimately it comes back to this. I am happiness itself. Happiness is not other than me. This I am happiness itself is called Ananda Swarupa. By nature is happiness. That is manifested once in a while as the happiness in the mind, which we actually call in practical life Sukha, Ananda. And that comes as Vishayananda and Bhajanananda. But I am Sukha itself, that's called Brahmananda. Yes.
Doesn't it give the thought of selfishness in itself? His happiness and the other is not.
No.
So everything we do is selfish.
Yes.
yourself as a self.
Yes.
And that's good.
That's good depending on what is your idea of the self. If my idea of the self is this person, Sarvapriyananda, this body, this personality, then that is samsara. It is a source of unhappiness and a cause of so much suffering for others also. Because everything is for I, me, mine. I want to draw everything here. All good things for me. Because my understanding of self is this much. What Advaita does is, it makes the self the self of all.
So when we do unselfish work and we truly, mentally feel good about it, happiness, how
It's
that
actually
works.
selfish.
See Atman in them, that's what.
Yes, that is the self, the capitalist self. That's why it's making you happy. If you do not see Atman in them, at some level, even unconscious level, if you don't feel that the self is there, you will feel unhappy. I have to do work for myself, and I still think I am this little self, and don't find myself in anybody else. Then, to do even the least bit to others will feel I am depriving myself. My happiness is decreasing. But those who have a little bit of spiritual sensitivity, they will get a lot of joy in unselfish work. Swami Vivekananda says that unselfishness, selflessness, he uses the word unselfishness. Unselfishness is more pain, but it takes some maturity to understand that.
Time, it says, it's time.
So it takes some time to understand it, some maturity to it. It takes time or maturity to understand it. Why unselfishness is more pain? Because that is the real self. The real self is in everything. I am really all of these. Therefore, the happiness of one, even the spirituality of one individual private being. I was just saying today, private spirituality is no spirituality at all. The happiness of one individual being, you will find you are not very happy after some time. Keep trying. I really don't care about others. I want to arrange my life in such a way that I will be happy. It will not work. It will still be a big struggle. But if you let that go and keep on working selflessly for others, you will find you are happier and happier. Even right now you become happy. You will feel happy now. Why? Well, Vedanta says you will be happy only if it's connected with the self. Because that is the real self. In all beings. I am all of this. That is the real self, Atma. Then next one. So look at the neat way he handled it. If you make happiness something other than the self, what will happen? Either it will be not connected to me or connected to me. If it is not connected to me, that happiness is no happiness. And we can see in our lives. Something, no matter how nice, happening far away, all right. We might even feel unhappy. Jealous.
Jealous.
Why is a good thing happening to them? They don't deserve it. Somehow, it's politics. When it happens to me, I deserve it. It happens to me. I'm very happy, and of course I deserve it. It's hard to understand. I have to earn this. So, it has to be related to me. If it's not related, it's not happiness. And if it is related to me, then it is not happiness. Actually, it is my relation to myself that is causing the happiness. So ultimately, I am the source of happiness. Self. That self, Advaita says, is the self of all. If you keep it limited as this limited being, then samsara happens. Dukkha comes. Then, number 25. Nahi nana swarupam syat. Nahi nana swarupam syat. Ekam vastu kadachana. Ekam vastu kadachana. Tasmad akhandaye vasmi. Tasmad akhandaye vasmi. Vijahat jagatim vidam. Vijahat jagatim vidam. A single thing can certainly never have multiple essential natures. Therefore, forsaking the distinctions pertaining to the world, I am indeed indivisible. So, Sat, Chit and Ananda are not three things. I say Sat is my nature. I am Sat itself, existence itself. I am consciousness itself. I am Ananda, bliss itself. So, are you three? Three different things. Are they three different aspects? No. They are the same thing itself. So, his argument here is, a single thing cannot have multiple nature. So therefore, when I say I am single thing, I know that I am one. Whatever I am one, ekam. When I say I am Sat, I am Chit, I am Ananda, I mean ekam only. That Sat is Chit is Ananda. Indivisible. Akhanda eva asti. I am indivisible. Then what about the apparent distinction Satchidananda? Vijahat jagatim vidam. From the worldly perspective, existence, consciousness, pleasure, they seem to be different. You let go of that worldly conception. You will find pure being, pure consciousness, pure bliss are one and the same. Then, conclusion. This is actually the conclusion of the conclusion of the text. There are two more verses, but this is really the conclusion of the teaching. Parokshata paricheda Shavalyapoha nirmalam Tadasiti gira laksham Aham ekarasam I am great of one essence, the pure one implied by the scriptural statement that thou art, by eliminating the conditioning factors of remoteness and limitation. Alright, so what he is doing here is, he is summing up the whole of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta can be expressed in single sentence. Tattvamasi, you are that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. I am Atma Brahma, this very self is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is Brahman. Any one of these. But most commonly taken, the famous one is Tattvamasi. Advaita is Tattvamasi. So in one sense, Advaita can be, the whole of Advaita Vedanta can be seen as an attempt to understand and realize the meaning of Tattvamasi. That thou art. What does Tattvamasi mean? He has put it in this verse. What he has said here, there is a text called Vedanta Sarada by Sadananda Yogindra. Around contemporary. Vedanta may be a little earlier than this book. Whole of Vedanta is explained. It's a manual for students, for newcomers. So when there's brahmacharis, when we join the order and then we study Vedanta in training center, the first thing that is taught to us in Vedanta is Vedanta Sarada. That introduces us to all the definitions. When you ask what is Brahman, what is Ishvara, what is Jiva, what is Anandamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya, Pranamaya, all of these things, all the definitions are given there. Very precisely. What is my Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, everything is defined. So there the whole text culminates in an explanation of Tattvamasi, that thou art. All of that he has put in one verse. Alright, I am going to do an exercise. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will attempt to summarize the whole thing. What is called Mahavakya Vichara. Mahavakya Vichara. An analysis of Tattvamasi. Why should we do that? In order to realize I am Brahman. The meaning of Tattvamasi. You are that. You know the background. The Shvetaketu, Chandogya Upanishad 6th chapter. He comes back from school and he's very arrogant. And then his father says to him, O Shvetaketu, have your teachers taught you that by knowing which everything is known? And Shvetaketu said, no, my teachers have not taught me that. Why don't you teach me? So his father teaches him. And Tattvamasi, it is said 9 times in that chapter, 6th chapter. So it's a Mahavakya. It summarizes the whole teaching of Vedanta. Alright. What does Tat mean? What does Tvam mean? What does Asi mean? Tat means that. What is that? It means Brahman. That which is the cause of the entire universe. Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, Bhagavan, consciousness with Maya. And Tvam means Jiva. Shvetaketu, that one. You are that. That from which the universe has come, in which the universe exists, into which the universe shall be resolved. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. That and you are the same. Tattvamasi. You are identical. You are literally the same. Tattvamasi. Asi means is, equation. Atman is Brahman. Now, rationalize it? Because at face value these are not compatible. It does not make sense. You're saying Ishvara is Jiva. That's literally false. Ishvara cannot be Jiva. Jiva cannot be Ishvara. So let's go through the process of analysis. You say Tat Tvamasi. First objection will come that words have meaning. So book is a word, it has this meaning. Table is a word, it has this meaning. Book is on the table, it's a sentence with these three words. Book, table, is, or is on. Book means this, table means this, is on means the relation between them. So if you have a sentence has multiple words. If you have multiple words, it means multiple things. And a relationship between those multiple things. And they'll give an example. Dandena gam anaya. Take the stick and drive the cow home. The stick is the instrument. The cow is the object of the action. Action is driving it home. And this is the command given to the shepherd boy. So anyway, the objection is Tat Tvamasi. There are three words there. Therefore, it cannot express Brahman, which is one, indivisible, non-dual. Three words will express three different things. Otherwise, why use three words? You must understand the force of the objection. Tattvamasi cannot express akhandartham, indivisible entity. One entity, non-dual entity. Because you have two words, like at least two words, tattvam, they are different words, so they mean different things. Different words will mean different things. So it's a sentence meaning something we have to understand, but certainly not Brahman. What is our answer to that? So there are some sentences in which there are multiple words, but they all mean the same thing. Such sentences are called Samanyadhikara. Multiple words all referring to the same adhikara, same locus. Some sentences are Vyadhikara. Multiple words referring to various loci or locuses or loci. Let me give you an example. Tapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya ramakrishnaya te namaha. Ramakrishna, avatara varishta, tapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupa. These are multiple words, many words. How many entities are they referring to? One. Vishnu Sahasranam. Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkara Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu goes on and on and on. 1,000 names, 1,000 words. Are they referring to 1,000 entities? One. Vishnu. So there are some sentences, there are groups of words, many words refer to one thing. And our claim is this Tattvamasi is like that. There are two different words, Tat and Tvam, they refer to the same thing. So, okay, this is the first obstacle. Now, the next obstacle will be, the opponent will come and say, yes, but Tattvamasi, they refer to the same thing. You know what it is like? Neela Utpalavat, like a blue lotus or green grass. No, it is adjective and noun. So lotus is the noun and adjective is blue. They are one thing, two words, blue, lotus. Blue means something else, lotus means something else, but blue qualifies lotus. So like that, Tattvamasi. Tat is God and Tvam is the Jiva. Jiva qualifies God. What is he talking about here? Vishishta Advaita. Jiva Vishishta Brahma. What is Vishishta Advaita? Jiva, Chit Achit Vishishta Brahma. Brahman Narayana is qualified by sentient beings like us. We are all part of Narayana. And in sentient world like this, stones and rocks and tables, all of them are part of Narayana. Like blue color and lotus. Blue is the adjective of lotus. It's the quality of lotus. Visheshana of lotus. Or part, you can say. Similarly, all jivas are part of Narayana. You are not Narayana. Let it be like that. Tattvamasi. Tasyattvamasi. That is the meaning. Tattvamasi. In Sanskrit, you can play around like this. Tattvamasi means Tasyattvamasi. You are his. You are his part, amsha. We say no. that is not possible. Why not? Why not possible? Because the color and flower, they are compatible. You can have a blue lotus, you can have a red lotus, a white lotus, you can have yellow lotus, you can have. There's nothing incompatible about it. But suppose I say a lotus rose, incompatible. They don't go together. Lotus horse and lotus, incompatible. It's either a lotus or a horse. So when you say Jiva Brahma, Jiva is part of Brahma, of Narayana, it's incompatible. Why? Jiva is sinful, Narayana is pure. Then if you put them together, what will they become? Sinful, pure Narayana? Jiva is limited. Ajnani, Narayana is Sarvapriyananda. If you put them together, then what kind of Narayana will you get? Ajnani Sarvapriyananda Narayana? Ignorant, all-knowing Narayana? It's incompatible. Why it's incompatible? Because the Jiva has certain aspects. Alpa Shakti, Janma Mrityu, it has Alpagya, it has very limited power, very limited knowledge, very weak, subject to birth and death, sinful, subject to karma. Narayana is just the opposite. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, all the omnis. Sarvagya, Sarvavyapaka, Sarvashaktiman. How is it compatible? Do you understand the objection? Blue lotus is fine. You, sir, you gave the example of blue lotus. You are saying let Tapovan be like that. But Tvam has certain characteristics incompatible with Tat. Tat means Narayana. Tvam means you, Jiva. You are not compatible with Narayana. You are not fit to qualify Narayana. With all your imperfections, how can you be a qualification of Narayana? I was just thinking of a joke yesterday. Our shoes got wet, the socks got wet. So one Swami told this story. With his wet socks, I put in my pocket. I went up there to the cottage. Now it seems the joke is this. To explain this, what we're talking about, there's a technical term here called Visheshya Visheshana Bhava. We're trying to explain that. A gentleman was going to a party, and his wife said, his wife said, "What's that awful foul smell?" So it must be my socks. It's dirty. She scolded him, "Change the socks. Put on new socks." After some time, so they went to the party. In the party, the lady came close to her husband and said, "That foul smell is there. I told you to wear new socks." He said, "I am wearing new socks. The old socks are in my pocket." So if you add Jiva to Narayana, the result will be like that. The foul smell will still be there. Our problem will still be there. Poor Narayana will get trouble from us. It's not compatible. They cannot go together. Tall man, compatible. Man can be tall. Tall, fast man. Man can be tall and fast, no nervous. But if you say tall, short man, incompatible. When you say Jiva and Narayana, you put them together as Visheshana Visheshya, noun and adjective, incompatible, rejected. So what do you say? We say that it is not noun and adjective, they are identical. We are saying what is Jiva? That is Narayana. How? For that, we have to take what is called Lakshya Lakshana Bhava. Lakshya, the implied meaning. What do you mean by implied meaning? What is meant here by Jiva and what is meant here by Narayana are both the same thing. What is meant by Tvam and what is meant by Tat are both the same thing. What are we trying to prove? By Tvam we mean pure consciousness, existence, consciousness, bliss. Aham must be Sarada Bhami. By Narayana also we mean that pure consciousness. And therefore they are one. How are you doing this? We are doing it by implied, by implication, method of Lakshana. What is Jiva? What is Ishvara in Vedanta? That's why all the definitions are important. Jiva is Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya. Pure consciousness limited by ignorance. Ishvara is Maya Upahita Chaitanya. Pure consciousness associated with the power of Maya. Same pure consciousness, Satchidananda, associated with Maya is Ishvara. Same pure consciousness, limited by ignorance is Jiva. This is the definition. By implied meaning, what do we mean? We want to only the pure consciousness. We don't want the pure consciousness with Maya, pure consciousness with ignorance. Ignorance and Maya are incompatible. Maya is Sarva Shakti. Because of Maya, pure consciousness gets the power of omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, Sarvagya, Sarvavyapi, Sarva Shaktiman. Because of ignorance, pure consciousness gets the qualities, attributes of Alpa Shakti, Alpagya, all the visible, the foul smell. That's our problem. We are the wet socks. Now, without the Maya and without the ignorance, without the supreme qualities of Ishvara and with the inferior visible qualities of Jiva, drop those qualities, just take pure consciousness, then the Tapovan will be correct. But how will you do that? This is called Lakshana, Lakshya Lakshana Bhava, the method of implied meaning. But there also complication is there. I just mentioned the complication, solution is stopping. Complication is, there are three ways of finding out implied meaning. Jahat Lakshana, Ajahat Lakshana, Jahat Ajahat Lakshana. Either you want to equate them by leaving some of the, by leaving their qualities, then they will become one. Or you want to add something to them, and then they will become one. So, leaving their qualities means that Gangayam Ghoshaha. In the Ganga, the cowherd community, the milkman community, their locality is in the Ganga. So this is the statement. Let me give a better example. Stratford-on-Avon, House of Shakespeare, or Belur on Ganges. I've seen letters by Swami Vivekananda. Address is Belur on Ganges. It's just like Belur on Ganges. But if you take it literally, it does not make sense. How can Belur but be on the Ganges? It will sink. And what we understand, but we immediately understand what is meant. Belur on Ganges does not mean Belur on Ganges. Abandon that meaning and take the proximate meaning. Belur but is on the bank of Ganges. This is called Jahat Lakshana. Implied meaning of Belur on Ganges is Belur but is near Ganges. You can't say Belur but is near Jamuna. That will not work. It has to be near that meaning. Something proximate. Original meaning, give it up. Take a proximate meaning. Can we do that for Tattvamasi? No. If you give up the original meaning of Ishvara or Jiva, what is the original meaning of Jiva? Pure consciousness plus Ajnana. Then you are giving up pure consciousness also. But we want to retain that. You can't do that. You can't give up the meaning of Jiva. Then the other way is Ajahat Lakshana. You add something to the original meaning so that it becomes compatible. Example is Shona Bhavati. Red is running. So this is horse race example. So in those days they also, I think non-dualists used to bet on horses maybe. So they said the red one is running fast. Red is running means red horse. Shona Ashwa, the dark horse is winning. There is also a phrase in English, the dark horse is winning the race. So to get meaning from that, dark is winning or running, you have to add horse to that. Right? So if you add something to it, then the meaning will come out. If you add Jiva to Narayana, meaning will come out. Won't work, same wet socks problem. You have put on new socks, and you add the wet socks, and you add the new socks to the wet socks, it will not solve the problem. The foul smell will still remain. Because you have to give up the contradictory qualities. Finally, you come to what is called Jahat Ajahat Lakshana, where you give up some of the qualities and give up some of the meaning and retain part of the meaning. Then it will fit. And that is the one we will adapt. It's called Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana or Jagat Adhyat Lakshana. You listen to the Vedanta talks, you will get the meaning of that. What we do is, the example that they give there is, so I am Devadatta. This is that Devadatta. So the Devadatta is just a guy. The Devadatta I saw in Bombay 20 years ago. I am seeing the same Devadatta in Gurgaon now. That Devadatta was 20 years ago. This Devadatta is now. That Devadatta was young. This Devadatta is middle-aged. So many differences. That Devadatta had a full head of hair. This Devadatta is bald. That Devadatta had perfect vision. This Devadatta wears glasses. But still we say, this is that Devadatta. How did you say that? Because you left out all those contradictory qualities. That and now, young and old, bald and with hair. All those qualities you left out. Just the person you took. And you say, this is that Devadatta. This is how we normally use language. We always use this. Same thing you have to do with Tattvamasi. Maya Upaita Chaitanya, who is Sarvagya, Sarvashaktiman, all of that. And Ajnana Upaita Chaitanya. In that you remove Maya and Ajnana and take Chaitanya, consciousness only. Then Tattvamasi will fit. This is the meaning of Tattvamasi. Leave out the contradictory qualities of Ishvara and Jiva and take just the consciousness itself. Who gave you permission to do this? How can you leave out the qualities of Ishvara and Jiva? Because they are appearances, they are part of the dream, the qualities. You are not really body, mind and sinful and caught in karma and a limited individual. You are pure consciousness only. These are like the colors in the crystal mountain. Crystal mountain alone is real. The colors in the crystal mountain, they are never there in the crystal mountain. One is colored in the color of Ishvara, the other is again colored in the color of Jiva. Remove the colors or ignore the colors, just take the crystal mountain, you will find it's the same crystal mountain. Same pure consciousness. So Jiva and Ishvara are one as Nirguna Brahmana, pure consciousness. Aham Asmi Sada Bhava. This is the whole analysis. Now if you look at it, it will make sense. Parokshata Paricheda Chavalya Apoha Nirmalam. Contradictory. Parokshata, Paroksha. This is another contrast between Ishvara and Jiva. Ishvara is what? That which I have heard and read in my books. In Vaikuntha, Ishvara is there. My Guru has told me Ishvara is there. Paroksha means beyond my sensory experience. It's a matter of belief. Ishvara is Paroksha. Jiva, I am Aparoksha, directly present to myself. You saw that one thing you cannot deny is I am. So how can Jiva and Ishvara be the same? You remove that Paroksha, Paroksha. Ignore it. Then, Paricheda. Ishvara is limitless. I am so limited with this body and mind. Ignore that. Shavalya. Ishvara has Maya, power. I have just ignorance. Ignore that. Apoha. By removing all of this, Nirmalam, you get pure consciousness. Then, Tad Asi. Iti Ira. These words, that pure consciousness you are. That is, Ishvara is that pure consciousness, you are that pure consciousness. The contradictory factors are appearances like a dream. Hence you can ignore it. You can ignore them. Just go to the reality, which is pure consciousness. Lakshyam. This is implied meaning. Behind this word Lakshyam is all this analysis which I tried to summarize the last 15 minutes. Samanya Adhikaranyam, Visheshana Visheshya Bhava, Lakshya Lakshana Bhavana, then going to the three types of Lakshana, finally settling on Bhagatyaga, Jahadaja, Lakshana, all of that he has said Lakshya in one word. And even these three types of Lakshana, which I just said, implied meaning, that's also simplified version. I read Professor Ganapati, who was in Vivekananda College. He written a little book published by Tapovan, Mahavakya, analysis of Mahavakya. He says actually there are 17 types of Lakshana, of implied meaning. And among them you have to choose one. So, all of that he has just said one word, Lakshyam, implied meaning, Ekarasam Maha, one homogeneous, limitless consciousness. That I am.
Siddham.
Siddham. It is proved. Have you proved anywhere? Said anywhere Siddham? Lakshyam.
Satasi.
Okay. Number 27. Upashanta Jagat Jiva. Upashanta Jagat Jiva. Shishyacharya Ishvara Brahmam. Shishyacharya Ishvara Brahmam. Swata Siddham Manadyantam. Swata Siddham Manadyantam. Paripurnam Maham Maha. Paripurnam Maham Maha. I am by my very nature perfect, without beginning or end, complete, great, and free from the error of the world. Individual, disciple, preceptor, and God. Preceptor and God. So I see that one limitless existence. I am that. This is the result of this inquiry. From beginning till now, I will realize this. That I am this vast crystal mountain of consciousness. I am that. Then he closes the text. Lakshmi dharakave sukti. Lakshmi dharakave sukti. Sharadam bhoja samhritaha. Sharadam bhoja samhritaha. Advaita makarandoyam. Advaita makarandoyam. Vidvat bringe nipiyatam. Vidvat bringe nipiyatam. May this nectar of non-dualism composed by the poet Lakshmidhara of autumnal lotus-like verses be enjoyed by bee-like sages. Like you are the bees which have come to enjoy the nectar of non-dualism. How beautifully poetic way is put. I have composed this. Sharad Ambhojasam. So this is lotus, autumn lotus. And all these verses are like the petals of those lotuses. And there you will find the nectar, and all the bees are coming. Now we are the bees who are enjoying this nectar.